And I'll have to find it on my laptop as well because I won't be able to see, I don't think, comments. I can see you. Hi, Angela. How are you? Happy Saturday. How'd everyone's day go? I hope you guys had a good day. Hello, Carrie. How are you? While you guys are saying your hellos to each other, I'm grabbing my laptop so I can find it. Starting soon, it says, but I'm starting now. So let's make sure it's muted. How you guys doing? Oh, I see lots of comments. Yay! I have been working all day on backgrounds. Like crazy woman, all day. So look at, I'm all kerfuffled. All kerfuffled. Did you have a good Saturday? What did you guys do? I made lots of backgrounds. I just sat here and played and stamped and stenciled and made a whole bunch of things. I have my sewing machine out. I have my big die cutting machine. I have some punches out. I have a paper trimmer, some stamps. I got gold embossing powder. I have an embossing marker, a Ranger marker. So we can do lots of things tonight. It literally is just, let's play with things. That's kind of what my plan is for tonight. Let's just play with some things. We put together my new project cart, very exciting. Thanks for recommending it. I love it. So I hope you enjoy that. I love that the trays come off and on the project cart. So I can have things that I'm actively working on or planning. So it's a lot of fun. And excuse my very bloodshot eye today. You're going to notice it. I know you guys are. And I think I broke a blood vessel. So I'm not super tired. My mother said to me last night, "You're really tired because your eyes are bloodshot." And I said, "I think I broke a blood vessel because it won't go away. It's just a bloodshot all the time." So I hope that it's not scaring you. Hello, Lil. My friend Lil is here. Did you volunteer already today? Are you done with that? Girl Scout cookie delivery. Are you in the US, Carrie? I think you are, right? So that means you have like all those crazy flavors that I don't know if Canadians have here. My feed is super blurry. Go in and go back out. It usually helps. But most of the time it's not too bad, right? Here on YouTube, your connection should be good. I'm looking at mine. Mine is good. So yes, you're finished. Lil is heading off because she just likes to rub my nose in it to Zion tomorrow with her hubby for a little cottage safe distance getaway. They're going to go hiking and how much snow do you guys have there? So that should be fun, right? You miss Lil today because of cookie delivery, right? Send cookies to Canada. Yes, I want, what are they? Thin Mints? Is that like a thing? All I can think of is Max and Ruby. Max and Ruby, when they are delivering the cookies and all those crazy flavors they have. Do you guys remember Max and Ruby? That makes me think of Girl Scout cookies, is that episode of Max and Ruby when she's delivering the cookies in the wagon with Max. But I want Thin Mints. I think I would enjoy that. So, hello tonight. We'll see how this goes because I don't normally come here on YouTube, right? So exciting. We did a lot yesterday and I'm going to share some things before we get started. So if you would like to see how I did a few things, right? You can grab any backgrounds that you have. If you are new here and you're maybe just finding me per chance or by chance today or tonight, it's tonight here in my world, I'm just going to be doing some mixed media layering. So I normally do lives every Friday on my Facebook page, which is Vicky Booten, my artist page. And I thought it would be fun to do a part two to yesterday's live where we made some really fun layered backgrounds with some white embossing powder and did some resists with my art crayons that I have through American Crafts, or whatever you're using, right? You can use anything that is water soluble and makes watercolor. But I went in today and I was just playing. And then I want to show how I did this because I think that was fun. I got some gold embossing powder because I thought that would be a fun option as well. And just kind of layered and layered. And now we make these backgrounds, so I thought it would be fun tonight to show you what you can do with them. So we're going to do that. I went with some different colors because I'm going to cut all of this apart. Going to cut it apart, going to cut strips out of it, we're going to punch out of it. I might even grab some die cuts. I have an embossing folder. Just get wild and crazy. So lots of different fun things that I played around with today while I was watching TV and building some furniture. But fun, lots of fun. Some stencil kissing, some stencil stamping. And then my good friend Natalie D'Souza is here because she always is my sidekick and sends you guys links. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm going to flip the camera around because I figure it is Saturday night and you spent time with me yesterday. You may have spent time with my friend Lael today, Lael by Mail, here on YouTube making lists. Maybe you were watching Tim's big reveal for Ideology, which was awesome. Lots of things I'm going to be spending my money on. That was exciting. And I thought just to kind of extend the fun from yesterday, so we weren't doing a 12-hour live, that I would do a part 2 tonight making something. So it really is just a kind of, hey, it's Saturday night, got nothing else to do, let's play and make some things. So we could make a layout background. This could be for a card base. It could be for embellishments in your art journal or junk journal, traveler's notebook, whatever you want to do. And I also grabbed some dies for my, and I keep forgetting what it's called, the Rolodex, the Heidi Swap Rolodex. I keep memory decks, and I'm going to make a card for my memory decks. So I have grabbed backgrounds, but it could be pattern paper if maybe you haven't taken the leap into doing mixed media stuff, or it could be cardstock, or whatever you want to do, or backgrounds that you made previously that maybe you didn't love. This is a great way to use them. And I grabbed my sewing machine. So my sewing machine's behind me. So I'm gonna sew on these because they're really going to be kind of thick and textural. And then I grabbed a die for the memory deck so I can roll that through my embossing machine. And it is the manual one for tonight. So, and then some punches. And then, like I said, gold embossing powder. I have white embossing powder, some stamps, just some things. Just some things, and we're just going to play. Love the memory decks idea. I'm doing that for my 100-day project. I think that is an amazing idea. That's an amazing idea. I love it because I can make things very thick, and it will fit on the memory decks, and I don't have to worry about squishing anything, or if I use foam squares, it still will be pretty. And I love that it can be just a whole sampling of techniques and different things that we're doing. Because the one thing that I'm doing for the year, so for what year is it? 2021? COVID brain, right? I don't even know. I'm like, what day is today? What month are we in? Every month we are going to focus on a technique or a different product, and each Friday on my Friday Night Lives, which I'm going to start streaming here and on Facebook, I'm going to be doing, and we just did it this month with art crayons, different technique, tip, and then use for those mixed media techniques. Cards are the third Friday of every month. The second Friday is scrapbook layout, and then the last Friday is kind of dealer's choice, right? Whatever I decide to do, if it's going to be art journal, but it probably will be something that is kind of very layered and textural. So that's the idea. And look at, and Natalie's sharing all of the things. I love it. Because I don't know, what's it like in your house? I had to cook dinner really quickly, got everything ready and went, I have to go hang out with my friends on YouTube. So see you guys later. And we'll see if anybody comes and bugs me. But at this point, I think they're eating, so they'll leave me alone for a minute. So I'm going to flip the camera around and let's just start making stuff. So even if you just feel like hanging out tonight and you're not creating along with me, or you just want to see what this is all about, that's great. Keep chatting with me because I have my laptop set up, and I think that's a fun thing to do on a Sunday night or a Saturday night. I'm getting a pedicure from my husband while watching this. Ah, very nice. That's never going to happen in my house, though, Denise. I'll just tell you that. I stuffed myself and put my pajama pants on to watch this. I love that. Nat, what did you have for supper tonight? So I'm going to flip the camera around So just gonna have a little flipperoo, and we're gonna start making. So like I said, I have lots of backgrounds here. I'm going to tear some, I'm gonna cut some, I'm gonna die cut some pieces, and then just kind of put it all together. And I think it's a fun way to show you how you can use your mixed media that you do and all of those play pages. So here we go. Baked pasta, yummy, yummy. I didn't eat yet. I think that's good, right? You guys can see all my mess and my belly. Hi, Melinda. Okay, I love spending this time with Vicky, but she is in reverse on my screen. Am I in reverse in anybody else's screen? I don't understand what that means. So her hair is parted on the other side and it's freaking you out. Sorry. It's probably because I was using the front camera, right? The front camera. But thank you guys for being here. And thank you everybody who's already given the thumbs up to the video. These things are very important, right? And if you haven't already, I hope that you have subscribed to my YouTube channel, because I'm hoping, we've talked about it a lot, that I'll start growing it, because I know for a lot of you guys it's easier to watch than on Facebook, that the connection's usually a little bit better. I hope you grabbed your drink of choice for tonight. I have my always in reverse on Facebook. Right way here, is it? So Facebook, I'm reverse on your screen, and here I'm the right way. Well, my part is on the right hand side. So what did I look like when we were flipped the other way? That is crazy. I can see everything fine. Hello, Stella. How are you? So who's going to be making with me tonight? I grabbed die cuts. I do free cut files. You can find them on vickybooten.com. And I did a bunch for this month. I'll do some new ones for the month of March that I'm going to be using distress ink next, or distress products next month, a whole variety of them. This is what we made last night on our Facebook Live. And we did with white embossing powder and stencils and art crayons. So kind of watercolor technique on the background. And I know some of you definitely did not want me to cut this apart. We'll see how it goes, right? You didn't want me to cut it apart. You want me to give it away. And we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I might want to cut into it, or at least punch some hearts out of it, right? You missed the hearts because you can't give me the hearts. And the thumbs up. Weird, blurry here, but not on Facebook. That's really weird because it's fine on my screen. Is it blurry for anybody else? I'm making with you tonight. Did 3 extra from last night. I love it. Don't cut it. I know. We'll see. I know, purple. You'll love that, Kristen, because I don't necessarily use that a lot, but I did. I went with some purple and some kind of greeny gray. It's clear? Okay, so maybe it just depends on your connection. But sometimes, right, when you go in and out, like so shut YouTube down and then come back in, that you'll get a better connection. So we'll see. I thought that this was a good idea because it would be a clearer option. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I was blurry, but your daughter fixed it. Oh, yes, friends, remind me. Where do you go over to on the settings tool? And make sure your quality, so see the little gear on the bottom of the screen when you hover over the screen, and just increase the quality to 720, okay? So go over, take your cursor, go over the screen where you're watching me and see the little gear that, and when you hover on it, it says settings. If you click on that and you press on quality, you can increase your quality. I just put it on 720 and now it is very crisp. So super helpful because mine was on like 320, right? So that I think is super helpful. So I love this one. So with this, I took a stencil and it was a larger stencil. I believe it was a Diane Reevely. And I did stencil stamping where I took the image and stamped it or ran it through the ink and then pressed it onto the background and then stenciled through it in green. And then I stamped and then put white embossing powder on the side with a script stamp. So I just kind of layered and layered. I saw something about a squirrel moment, but I'm not sure. But yes, my friend Lael has her squirrel moments. You can hear my family yelling because you are in the Booten house and this is what we do, right? I said my videos aren't super polished. So if you're new here, I invite you into my home when I do these lives, and we get what we get. But it's fun. So this one I did in 3 different colors because I'm going to be cutting it apart. And then I did this one again with some stencil stamping and then went through the stencil. A lot of these stencils are the new ones that are going to come out with my color study release with American Crafts. I'm excited to show this though, what I did here. It's not a paint marker, I'm going to show that. And I did it on this one. And one of them here had circles on it, and I did it on there too. And I'll show you. We'll continue that. Oh, see, I have more backgrounds laying around. I got to figure out where I put that one. It's a mess. Oh, here, this one. See here? So I'm going to show you what I did. I ordered this, and I think it's fun, right? So, you know, some of these are kind of a hot mess, right? But that's why it'll be fun to cut them apart. So I have this Distress Embossing Pen. It's a Tim Holtz product, and it's great for doodling or writing words. And I love it if maybe you have trouble getting your paint markers to work or white gel pens to work. If you use the embossing pen with some embossing powder, you get a really nice crisp white. So we're going to do that before we get started because I thought it was worthwhile to show you guys. I really love how that turned out. And it's the other reason I grabbed some gold embossing powder as well. I have one and never used it. So I literally just went in here and did some loose circles. I don't know what those crazies are doing up there, but they're loud. And then went in with white embossing powder, and this is a Ranger product. It's white super fine detail. I did not put any of my share sale links, but I will later. So you guys don't need to run away to go shop. I'll share that stuff with you later and just hang out and make with me for now. And I should have done all of the things. It just was a crazy busy day. I was watching Lael, I was cleaning, I was making art, and then I looked at the clock and went, oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock. And that's what happened to me tonight. So how are you guys doing with time? Did the day run away from you? I don't know. I'm just grabbing my plug. Okay. And then I'm just going to heat emboss these. And the white embossing powder is like little flecks of plastic, and it is going to melt and then give me this really fun layer on top of all of that mixed media. And I don't have to worry about the pen being permanent, or a lot of white marker pens and paint pens sometimes don't work super well. So I thought that this was really helpful to just use the embossing powder and the pen. So I could write a word on here, which I'm going to on one of them. I'm going to do kind of like a script background. I can also do a layer on top. Finally the chat came, couldn't find it. You guys are all like, and I'm sure what's nice here is we're community, right? So I'm sure if you're having issues, the ladies out there and guys will help you if I'm not looking at you. So I'm not ignoring you, I just missed it. So I'm going to do it as well with a script stamp, and whatever script stamp you have. This one, like I said, is one of the older ones that I have. But you could also go in here with some gold embossing powder, which I think will be fun. And I'm going to take some of that off so it's not just a rectangle of ink. Stamp it on here. Put a little bit of gold embossing powder. And then we'll have some fun layers. My gold embossing powder has lots of junk in it. Yes, the embossing markers are great if maybe you've embossed with a stamp and missed a spot. It is, I agree, perfect for touching up. And then look at that layer of gold, is super fun. I will show you closer to the camera. Isn't that pretty? Right? So it's going to be a pretty layer when we cut this out. And I'm going to go down and do a couple more. And I'm going to do some gold on this end and then the white on top as well. So we have that kind of action going on. But I thought it would be fun to show you some things because tonight really was, right, where I wanted us to come with the stuff done. So I wasn't doing a lot of mixed media tonight. We're going to cut it up and make something. Good for touch-ups. I watched way too much YouTube today. What were you doing? What were you watching? Yeah, I was on YouTube, and then I went on to Netflix and watching and working, and then realized, holy crow, where did the time go today? And realized that, oh man, this family's gonna want to eat. I'm gonna have no choice. I'm gonna have to feed them. Which is, you know, if you hang out with me enough, it is the bane of my existence. Same thing. OMG, it's 7 o'clock, right? And you're like, here's another tip too, friends. So sometimes I don't want, it's kind of a rectangle of pattern, is I'll go in and just brush some of that off and make it look a little bit more distressed before I heat it. And remember not to move your heat gun all over the place. Just wait for it to go from kind of that matte finish to the shiny finish, and that's when the embossing powder starts to melt. And this is a really fun layer on top of what you've done. You could do this through a stencil, which is what I did last night. I put my embossing ink through the stencil, and then I heated it. Use a sponge. Try to find your things, right? Darn autocorrect, right? Funny, my family always wants me to feed them too. Oh, it drives me crazy. That is the one thing, right, with COVID times, is everybody's here for dinner every night. And I'm like, I don't know what you're like, but some nights I don't feel like eating. Like, I'll just have popcorn for supper and be quite happy. But everybody else wants food, especially my husband, who is very much a creature of habit. And I'll be like, whatever, dude, just find something. I'm good. You don't have to worry about me. I don't need supper tonight. I'll eat popcorn and be quite happy. Or whatever, right? Cheese and crackers. I'm happy as long as I'm down here making my art, watching a little bit of Netflix, doing my thing. I do not need to have supper every night. So what was it? I played all afternoon, and then my hubby came. I love it. Tim Holt, Simon Hurley, you. My husband was live fishing with kids. Oh my goodness, how fun. And I didn't realize Simon was on today. I would have watched him too. I watched Tim and Lale. And then I did some dishes and then came back down and made some stuff and then made some more stuff. Had to drive my daughter to work, you know, all the things that we do. And then went, oh my goodness, look it's time. I told everybody I'm going to be on there at 7. So I said to the family, you guys can figure out the rest of this dinner. People will be wondering where the heck I am when I told them to meet me here if I don't show up. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more gold, and then I'm going to do a little bit more white. I know, and I find the older I get, time goes so fast. Anybody feeling me? Like, what the heck? Like, how are we almost done February already? How did that happen? How are we done, like, 2 months of this year already? Have you watched Schitt's Creek? Twice. I've gone through the whole thing twice, and I may have just bought myself a sweatshirt that says, ooh, David. And I told you guys before that Dan Levy and I could be the best of friends. I love him. I love that show. I'm very sad that it's done. I feel like my family has left me. So I don't know, has everybody here watched Schitt's Creek? And it is, don't give up. I'll tell people, if you haven't watched it, don't give up on it in like the first episode. You really have to give it a couple of episodes and you'll be hooked. They're just endearing, crazy, the best costumes, right? I saw a mug with that on it, right? I bought myself the sweatshirt. I love it. Yeah, I love it. What am I missing, Lil? What are you me tooing? So the one thing though with the embossing powder is makes a mess all over your mat. Okay, so I thought that was a fun addition, right? It's a textural layer on top of your mixed media. I find when maybe your background is a little busy or you're not really loving your color choices, when you layer some things that are a little bit more opaque on top, it kind of can tie your pattern in and draw your eye away from maybe what you aren't loving. So the embossing powder is definitely fun. I love that. Isn't that pretty? And you could use this as a full layout. Like we could scrapbook right on top of this. And when they're a little buckly, I just will leave it under a stack of cardstock or whatever and it'll flatten. Because you have the embossing powder, you know, one of my tips is to run it through your Mink or your laminating machine, but you won't want to do it with embossing powder on it because you'll make a mess. Okay? You just finished watching. I felt like crying when it was done. I'm telling you, that's why when I feel like I miss them, I just watch it again. And I cry often watching Schitt's Creek, but not sad tears, happy tears. Like I said, I feel like I'm hanging out with my family, right? Love it. And I think that whole little bit of Canadian essence to it too, I really like that. Okay, so let's put the embossing powder away and I'll talk to you about some of the other stuff. You haven't watched it yet? It really is. I really like it. I really like that show. I love David and I love how they talk. Ew, David. It's my favorite. My sister-in-law likes to watch it too, so it's something we will chat about. Yes, tears at the end of it. Yes, and a couple episodes in, I cried. Oh, and then I watched the kind of behind the scenes and I cried. And they were crying and I was crying and we were all crying, me and my friends on Schitt's Creek, because they don't know me, but I know them. I love it. Hello, friends. Glad you're joining me tonight. So now I'm going to clean up. And I know my friend Lael is over there doing all the things. She's pulled her art crayons out. She's heat embossing. Her hands are filthy and she's loving it. Aren't you, Lael? She's probably like cleaning her scrap room or packing boxes or something. She is not a lover of the mess. Alexis's storyline is tear-filled but wonderful. Yes, totally. I like how that ended, but it made me really sad. So I have the die cut that we had used on the background of the layout this month. We had used it as a mask and made this layout. And then I said, keep it because we'll do something with it. We can decoupage out of it, meaning add it with some medium and sew on it. Or we could literally just stitch on top of it. And maybe for time's sake tonight, we'll just sew with it. I have some stencil brushes if we want to put a couple more layers. But now my idea. So I have an embossing folder. I think that would be fun to see what it will look like if we put one of these backgrounds through an embossing folder. So like maybe a section like this. And we could put embossing ink in the folder and then emboss on that. So just kind of let me know if you would like to see any of that, right? Because we could do the things. I missed you all last night, so very happy to be here tonight. I'm happy that you're here as well. It's going to be fun. So, and then hello from Peterborough. Just checking in to say hi and hope you enjoyed tonight's part 2. You'll watch the replay later. We'll see you later, Jeanette. So my idea tonight is let's just tear some of these up and punch some things out. I really love this one as a full background. So maybe we could do this on there and we could make a layout out of that later. That might be an option. I'm kind of digging that. What do you guys think? Because I know for any of my scrapbookers out here, you might like an option like that you could actually make a layout out of something. So that would kind of be pretty on there, don't you think? So I'm thinking, don't you agree, Natalie? I like this one here. So we'll leave that, and I might add another piece on the bottom. But I'm thinking that this is going to go with this because I really like this background and I kind of want to just keep it the way it is. So this will go together. We'll do this tonight. So there, one decision made. Okay, I don't think it needs anything right now. Setting it aside. And then we have, for sure, we're cutting this apart. So you have options that we can tear out of it. And we can cut out of it, and I'm going to punch some things out of this as well, okay? So we can go in here. I really like this strip. I'm going to put my ruler down, and this is all on foundations paper, so you know it has a little body to it. Oh, look, that actually turned out really cool, because we have a nice straight edge, and then we have an edge that's kind of distressed. That's fun. So let's cut that one out. Rather than tear it, I'll just cut it out. And I'm going to cut it a little bit wider. So this one about, I don't know, an inch and a quarter, right? And I try to go very clean with what I did, so when I layer it on other things, there's lots of contrast. So I just went in your packing orders. I knew you were because you're leaving tomorrow, and you told everybody to do their shopping so you could get stuff packed. So I knew that you would be packing orders. So that one, look, I kind of made a mess there, so let's just rip that end off. I just went in with yellow and a kind of neutral browny yellow out of the neutral set and went really simple, and then just heat embossed with a crosshatch stencil with white embossing powder. So let's go in here. I know that, let's do this. I'm going to do it again here. I want some jazz here with this yellow, or with where the two colors kind of meet. So we have that. We can cut this piece out, and then we can punch some things. So I'm going to do this one a little bit thinner because the pink area wasn't as big. So just take some different strips. And right now we have no plan. We're just doing the things with no fear, right? Just kind of cut it up. Going to leave this, and we're going to punch out of that. I am going to punch out of this, and I'm going to tear another piece here. And you can wet the background to tear, but this is because the paper's so thick, it's really kind of turning out well. Right, that edge. So many robins tonight. There are. I love it. It is a robin night. We don't see that happen all the time, do we? Okay. So we got a couple different things going on, different options. Something I want to look at because I had an idea. So I want something on the bottom of this, and I just have to decide as we go through what it's going to be. And I'm kind of digging that. So I'm going to save my yellow piece for this layout because I think it kind of works well and it's not too contrasty. I'm kind of digging that. So I'm going to leave that with that. And now I'm going to take, I have a 1.5 inch heart punch. I have a 1.5 inch and a 1 3/4 inch circle punch. I have a die cutting machine over here, so we could do that. Your art crayons give such great results. They're fun, and it is like, there are some limitations, right, with your color palette, because you just have so many art crayons, and even when you're mixing them, you'll get some new colors, but it's not like having 100 pieces or tubes of paint to choose from, or 100 different markers. But I still really like this, especially when we're going kind of in rainbow colors and then pulling in some of the neutrals as well. Turns out really pretty. So let's go in here and just start punching some things. So I don't know, because this one has a strip, if I will be able to get a full circle out of it, but we'll try. It will work, yay! So I have an idea with these, so let's just punch. And this is something I like to do. So there's two things that can happen here tonight, is I can punch circles out of this strip, and then I can use the positive and the negative of this punched strip. Right, so let's figure out, that one's gonna be a little harder, but it's all good, we can do it. Right, and now this is something that we can use. All these lovely circles, and we could also lay this on something that has contrast and have another strip. Okay, like we could layer things like this, and that could be really pretty. So don't throw anything away tonight. Just kind of keep all your scraps, and let's see what we get as we keep going. Am I missing any questions? I used 3 different types of art crayons today and found that I really prefer yours. Well, they all do different things, right? They're watercolor, water-soluble crayons, and some are like Dina Wakley's are a little harder, her scribble sticks, but they work really well in art journals. Tim's Distress crayons will set, so they do amazing things, and you can use them on metal. So I own all of them. I have gelatos, I have the art crayons that I have with American Crafts, I have Dina scribble sticks, I have Neo colors, I have all of them. It's no different than paint, right? I buy all of them. And then just, you can use them for different things. These are really fun and kind of multi-purpose. You can do a lot with the art crayons, so that's kind of fun. I'm gonna punch some hearts out of this one. Maybe some hearts and circles, okay? So I want to get, oh, look at, and this is what I love. So if you look at this, and maybe you're like my friend Lael, who likes the idea of this, and I'm picking on you, Lael, because we've had this conversation, but she's like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of messy, it's not really my jam, I don't like to get my fingers dirty. The plus with the art crayons is they'll wipe right off. Now here's where I call this contained funk. When I take my punch now and look at that, like for somebody who gets a little freaked out with mixed media, here's where the magic can happen. You can take these patterns on a white background, everything's kind of messy, and now you have mixed media, but in a controlled kind of way. What works well in art journals? I missed it. Oh, scribble sticks, but all of them work well. But don't forget that Dina draws. So for her scribble sticks to be harder than art crayons totally makes sense to me. Because will you be carrying the heart ones? Would you like me to? Because these come in a set of 3 as well. I can get the heart, I think there's stars, and the circles. So yeah, I can bring, I just ordered a whole bunch of punches to put in the store because you know I love them. So I got a bunch of punches, the new ones that are coming out with We Are, because I love them. I love punches. A lot of people who are newer to paper crafting don't have punches because maybe when you started it wasn't a thing. When I started, it was the only thing. We did not have the die cutting machines yet, right? So we bought punches. I have like every style of punch you can imagine, border punch and deco scissors and all of the things, right? So definitely, I think something worth having. I'm going to not cut anymore because I'm going to maybe cut some strips out of that. Okay, so let's just do it. while we're at it, I'm just going to cut some strips. Oh, I meant to cut that piece, but whatever. So just cut some random strips, all in different widths. They don't even have to be straight, and you don't even have to think about it. And we'll figure something out to do with these, okay? But we're not going to waste anything tonight, so everything that you have left over, just throw in your pile, and we can decide what we're going to do with it. I should have put some hand lotion on. Anybody else suffering with that this time of year? And then as soon as you start washing your hands a lot, my hands are like so dry. And I wonder if it's like age too, that I'm turning into old bag, right? That my skin is so dry. So I'm happy with what I have here. I have a couple of hearts, so we could use these on a card. I have some more circles to go with my orange circles. Can I get one more? Maybe, maybe not. I can get a half one. So we will go and take a half circle because it could go off the side and throw that in there. And I'll take a half one out of here too. But yeah, it is terrible this time of year and how dry my hands are. I think that as I get older, I'm going to end up having like old lady hands. They're going to be old lady. Pick away at you. You know what I'm talking about though, right, Lil? Is that I love that you can make mixed media fit into any style. So even if you're like, I don't know about, and Lil does a lot of traveler's notebooks and planner type things, that this would be great. It'll work. So see down here, I'm going to show you this again. So I went in, which I thought was really fun, with, where did I put that? Embossing pen. Because it's a mess already, and I've only been here for a few minutes. Oh, Vicky, where'd you put it? Do you guys see it? Is it right in front of me? And I just don't, oh, I moved it. I put it away. It's the hand sanitizer, yes. You're crazy about punches. Me too. I think, like, and I love now that these We Are Memory Keepers, like I sell the circle one in on VickyBooten.com, and it comes in the 3 layerable sizes, and then the heart one does too, and I love them. So I'm going to go back in with my marker, and I didn't write words, but you could write a word if you want to, so I just kind of pretended I was like scribble writing, because I like that it looks kind of scripty, right? And then put the embossing powder on it. And this page I didn't actually like. I wasn't liking how it was turning out, and then this kind of made it more my jam, right? That white just kind of quieted the pattern down, and I liked it. And you could definitely do this in gold if you wanted as well. So let's heat that. You just finished dinner. I know, Michelle, that's what I was saying, that this is kind of a weird time on Saturday, right? But I definitely, I get the FabFitFun box, which I love, and have to wrestle it away from my daughter usually, because she steals everything out of my FabFitFun box. Ooh, that's a mouthful. And I always order the lotions. I'm all about the lotions and the eye lotions and the lotions and potions. So I have a whole bunch down here, really awesome hand creams. I just didn't remember to put any on. And isn't that the way, right? Like when you need a chapstick, all the chapsticks are in your purse or in your car, and you can't actually get to the chapstick when you need the chapstick. It's the same case with me here tonight and the hand lotion. I have lots of it. I just didn't put that much on. Love the scribbling with the pen. Me too. Right? Super easy. And we talk about that it's worthwhile to have a script stamp, but I'm like, well, here, I like that I can make it like large or small, And I got a lot of green on here, so I'm going to go over this again a little bit and see if I can't pop some white out there. Because I went over it in art crayon, and they are waxy, right? They do kind of have a waxy finish. So it really settled into the embossing powder. So the other thing you could do as well is kind of heat the embossing powder again and put another layer, or the embossed area, and put another layer of embossing powder on while the embossing is hot. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I go in here and I really start to heat this up, so I'm making that original embossing powder hot. When I put powder on top of it again, it will stick on there because it's sticking on that hot plastic. So you just have to work pretty fast because it won't stay hot enough and sticky enough long enough. And of course it's just going to be a fart. So I'm not doing that because it is all over. It heated the art crayon on the background, so it was sticking on everything. So we'll leave it. Did you like that? It was just being a fart. So we'll just leave it alone. But now I want to make sure there's no leftover bits. So my idea was, I kind of like this, so let's do this one thing, wherever I put them. Let's see, did Vicky put it in easy enough to find? I have stamps out, embossing folders. I have all of my stencils that I cleaned before we started. We'll have to watch from the beginning. Well, Michelle, all these backgrounds were done already, right? So yes, even my stay inside the line style totally can, right? So we were talking about it that I love the memory decks from Heidi Swap, and there's dies, so you can cut stuff out that will fit the memory decks. So I am going to take one of these and I'm going to cut, like look at, you could cut a whole whack of stuff out for your memory decks. So let's cut that out and run it through the die cutting machine. Scissors. Yes, if you want to watch how the backgrounds for the most part were made, because all of these I made just fooling around today. But like I said, I've done, if you watch my Facebook lives, all the techniques that I did to make these, we have done before. Stencil stamping, stencil kissing. I've been doing Facebook lives on Friday night for, I think, over probably 2 years, maybe 3. So there's tons of content and information that you can find. But if I would have started and we would have done the backgrounds live tonight, we would be here all weekend because they take some time, right? So I have my old big kick. So I have an electronic die cutting machine. I have an electronic, one of these manual machines, the Tim Holtz Vagabond, which I love because it looks like a suitcase. And then, and I find there's a use for all of them, right? That it doesn't matter what kind of art you make. I love the manual die cutting machines. 2 years has it been? Yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's been a while, right? So I'm going to just put this on here. And I think that this will make a really pretty page in. And I don't know if I need a shim or not. We'll see. If I do, we'll know. Nope. I can feel it. So I will run this through twice and hope for the best. But again, what's going to be cool is then we will take the artwork we made and we can have something else, right? Look how fun that is. So now that will fit into my memory decks. And we can still put some other things on it. I'm going to show you that. But love that. This could go inside your art journal, so I'm not going to throw that away because that could be fun inside my art journal where you could make a frame out of it. So let's keep those two things. Love that! So my idea too with the memory decks is I want it to be like a recipe book for mixed media and artful techniques. And that could be any kind of paper crafting technique. So I will be doing this all year. So by the time we're done, I will have a whole memory decks full of different art cards. And I'm not going to put photos or anything on it. I might embellish them and put stickers. But what you could do on the back is print out your recipe. So you'd have a reference for all of the things that you're doing. And I do sell the memory decks on VickiBoutin.com, and I'm ordering more of them because you guys have been ordering them like crazy. And you can get the dies like this. There's 2 different sets, but also you can get a punch. So you could make it any shape you want and punch it out. So we could make a flower and put it in there. And I'm going to do that. I will make some different cut files and stuff that we can use as well. But there is something that now contained funk. We just made some pretty art, and I'm going to throw this on the floor. Oops. I'll grab that plate I just literally threw across the floor. I am an enabler, but not in the sense that, do you have to have one? No. Just buy what makes you happy, right? I have to pick this up because I know I'm going to use it again, and I just threw it across the floor. There. All the pieces are back, so if we need to use it. Yay! Save me memory decks and the dies. I've ordered more, so they're on their way. Lots of stuff is coming because I like to play. Memory decks dies. Might have to do a memory decks now. And it can be, like, think, you could put photos all over it, and this is one size, but you could do whatever you want on there. It could be a tag thing. Now, obviously, they can only be a certain height because of how it rolls around. But you could also put it in a box where they can go like a recipe box. So it's fun, right? It makes us happy to be like Vicki. I love it. I think I definitely need a memory decks. I'm going to order more of them because, like I said, I think I only have 3 left. I don't even know if there is any listed up on the shop, but they're coming. Okay, you don't need it today. It will be okay if you wait a little bit. So we can do some, what else can we do? Maybe a couple of hearts. But I want to cut this into, maybe we could do a page for my art journal as well. So I'm going to cut this section out here because I like this. And I'm just going to straighten it out a bit. And then I'm going to cut this piece and decide how I'm going to use that. But I have enough of it that I can have a page. This, I think, will be a fun page. I just don't know what exactly yet, but I like that. See, now when you look at it and just kind of contained, this to use as a whole background in an album or on a layout would be a lot, right? It might be a lot. But when I look at that as a page for my art journal or for a mini book, I love it. Or to cover the outside of an art journal would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? And you'll laugh. I'm not going to throw that little piece away because I might use that. And now, I want some torn, let's tear some strips off of this one because this will be a nice contrast for what we're doing. So I'm going to tear a strip from this side. There. We'll cut a piece. How pretty. See what I'm saying now? When you start cutting it apart and you simplify it, that's magic. You can look at it like pattern paper, right? I would like to cut a piece off of here and then I'll punch it to the other side. But I really am digging that as well. And that's all opportunity. You watch. We're going to make some things. Okay. And now I'm going to punch. Oh, look at, I'll figure out the hearts, but I want some circles. And where is the larger circle punch? Is it here and I just can't see it? It's what happens, right? When you have a mess everywhere. That's why, oop, here it is. I just want more of that pattern in it because this is going to be so pretty. Do I want it in a circle? Or watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some squares too. So this is about 2 inches. So I'm going to cut a couple of 2-inch squares from it first. And that's kind of magical. And one more, and then I'll punch out of the rest of it. So some squares, some strips, some punch sizes. You could die cut some different things. We can go in there and I'm going to, let's see, what can I get out of here now? Maybe a couple of hearts. And then just pick where you really are digging the pattern. And punch. I got 2 out of there anyway. And then I'll leave this because who knows, maybe this can be a little piece that I back. When we make a card, I can back my sentiment with it, right? Just like you would pattern paper or cardstock. So I have that little strip there, love it. And just throw my pieces. Some are going to be garbage, I won't use it, but you did not order one, Natalie, you ding dong. Are you going to use your iPhone as your camera? The quality is excellent. I am using my iPhone. Yep. Oh, so much stuff. Fun stuff is coming, friends. I just want to give you lots of reasons to be making the things, right? We need to be making things because I don't know about you, but this brings me joy. So you guys told me I'm not allowed to cut this one, so I'll leave that. I won't cut out of that. But it is, oh, be so pretty in pieces. But we'll leave that, and let's cut a little bit of this, and then let's make some things. Okay? Like, look, that is fun. What are we gonna do? I'm going to cut this strip off the bottom for right now. Because, look it, kind of digging that. Gonna leave that as a strip. I'm gonna make a page for an art journal. I think by 5 inches. Love that. And I think we should make another with the other die, this tab die. I'm going to make something out of that, and then I'm going to punch the rest out. So let's figure that out. Ooh, look at, yes! I love that, right about there. So let me cut that. And we will cut that out. I'm cutting it pretty close because I don't want to waste. And we'll cut that in a minute. And now let's make some squares. So we said 2 inches, right? I have 12 million backgrounds that we could cut out of as well, right? Creating makes you joyful as well. It really does, right? It's kind of awesome. What are you doing?
You have 5.
Are you watching it or listening? Let me see it.
I'm smart.
Rich just brought this over here if you want to know what we're talking about with the memory decks. He went and counted them. But just because there's 5 there doesn't mean I have 5 in stock. Some people could have ordered them already. This is what the memory decks looks like. They get beat up in shipping, but that is what it is. And he went and counted them. But we probably don't have 5 because you guys who already placed orders for the color study could have it in your order already, right? So don't get people super excited, Rich. We might be lying.
5 are there.
5 are there, but it doesn't mean 5 are available. And there's only 4 because Natalie, your friend, already bought one.
I want to get Narcos wound up.
She said, Natalie, Rich wants you to get Narcos wound up. Hello, Nicole. I was just thinking about you. I was wondering if you were out there. I miss you, my friend. Oh, that purple heart. Loving it. Throw that in there. And then we also have that as an option for something. Like, look at, we can stamp a sentiment on there and staple that onto a card. I love that. So we'll throw that there. We have that as a page. We have this that let's do some circles out of it. This stencil will be Nicole's favorite. She loves, right? The does magic things with the what are these called? Pie wheel, like the pie. My goodness, I'm so tired tonight. Hello, lovelies. Yes, we will get together for a Narcos night, and you could, like, he won't even have to read the subtitles, Natalie. You can tell him what they're saying. He loves that stuff, though. So you and him can get together for a Narcos night. I'll come down here and craft and then hang out with you when it's break time for Narcos. Because I can't watch it. I can't watch that stuff. I just can't do it. So I am using every last bit. I will do a part circle because I can use those too. Part circle. So yes, all my design team is here tonight. I love that. As soon as Color Study comes in, I will be shipping you guys big boxes of stuff, right? I have a new show for Rich that he will like. I love it. Yes, you do love yourself some pie charts. I love it, friends. So who's making tonight? So I'm almost done, and I'm going to make the next thing now, right? I have a bunch of circles. I'm going to show you my idea. And we're going to make some things tonight. I have some squares, and I have hearts. So I'm keeping separate piles, and then we will do the other thing that Nicole loves to do, and we're going to sew. Who else sews on their layouts? Do you guys get a sewing machine out? And I'll tell you, I don't make clothes or stitch anything. I only sew on scrapbook stuff. Nicole, fringing with your fringe scissors. I love my fringe scissors. I have to pull those out. Nicole inspired us all with that layout, right? I was just finished cutting 50 scrub caps. Yes, because you do sew, right, Mari? I only sew on the papers. I do not sew. I'd like to make my own clothes because then I could get exactly what I want. Anybody with me? Sometimes I go shopping and I can't find the things. I'm playing tonight. I love it, Irene. I'm having making lunchbox notes for Winnipeg Harvest. I love it. And thank you, yes, Mari, for making those scrub caps, because I am sure our frontline workers, it's super helpful because they have to cover everything, right, in COVID times. So yes, thank you for that. Okay, let's do it again. You sew. Oh, Lil said hi to Rich. I don't know if he's still here. He's sneaky little bugger. I didn't even know he was downstairs. And he's down here listening to me. He's eavesdropping. He is not like my friend Lael, who's here, husband Nick. I think will watch her YouTubes and actually participates. I don't even know if Rich knows how to get on the YouTube. I don't know. Do you like how I'm doing it like all awkward? That the thing could be on the other side and that would work great, but you know. Yay, look how fun those are, friends. That will be super fun. And then you could just flip your pattern if you want it to be on this side, right? So there, we have 2 of those. I will not keep this one. I'm actually threw my first piece in the garbage. And I'll leave those there so I don't lose it. But we could totally take flower dies and you could cut out flowers, butterflies, stars, whatever your jam is. But I love contained funk in that kind of thing, right? So we're saving this pattern. Put the other plate over here because I have a mess. And I won't cut out of that one. I'll just use that for background later. Even though, to be honest with you, I would cut this apart because it's a lot of action going on. But we'll leave it. We'll decide. That'll be something for another day. And we have this background. Oh, we have another piece. So I saved these pieces. We're going to make a background for a layout out of that. And then I still have these. I just got an idea. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to kind of cut this out in a wave. And that might go on the bottom of that. Oh, I love it! How fun is that, right? This is fun. This needs to be a page. Let's cut that out as if it is a page in my album because I am with this, with our whole do the things. I will be doing a mixed media album. So I'm going to cut, the largest I'll cut my page is a 6x8. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches and then decide, I'm going to cut the top of that off. Ooh, let's do that in a 2-inch square. So we can cut some squares out of that for our other bit. And then we will cut the bottom of this for the 8 inches. And then I will do all different sizes, but we will do another, I can do one of my DIY. But look at, how fun is that? My DIY junk journal. This could also be a mat on a layout, right? You could use it as paper. Do those cards just use on, yeah, you just pop them onto the slots. Yeah, they'll just fit right on there. So that is going with the other ones. I know we did this one. Did I do another one? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. So look at 3 art journal pages already. I love that. And then I can put something on the back of each of those or just make more art. So those will go in the stack and you know we'll make something fun out of those. That won't be tonight, but it will be for later. And then look how pretty that is. Natalie, this is right up your alley with those colors, isn't it? And then I'm going to just cut this piece out because I like it. Look at that. It kind of looks like flowers in concrete. That's what I'd name this piece, flowers in concrete. Nick says hi. He's helping me pack orders. Hello, Nick. You didn't take me up on my idea that I was going to come with you guys on your trip, right? I said I'm going to come and be the third wheel and just snuggle right in there with you guys. So I'm going to stick to all the same circle size, I decided. I love this, the colors in this one. So how did I make this background? I took that stencil, which is one of the new ones in the bubble set. So see this stencil? And I made a gray and a navy paint all on a sheet of plastic and I smooshed my stencil in it. So then it was all wet ink on there and I pressed it down and I brayered so the ink kissed into the background. And then while it was in place, I went through it with my stencil brush in pink. And then when you lift it, you get that kind of broken watercolor background. And then your highlighted areas or whatever color you put through it. But it leaves a little white border around it. So it really makes it look 3D. Super simple, but it's stencil kissing and then stenciling through the stencil while it's wet. You don't lift it, you put all your pigment through. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to punch some circles out of that. And then see, like, maybe if we do it in some kind of fun system. But yes, my friend Lil and her husband Nick are heading off to Zion. They live in Utah, and Utah, you might not know this, has the most amazing national parks. So what is the other one we went to, Lil? Zion, and starts with a B. And I forgot it because it's how I roll. But I think that they should take me with them because that is only fair. But I can't leave Canada anyway, so I can't come. I have to swim across the river and catch a flight out of Buffalo. That's fun, right? And now I am going to cut that piece off because I love it. Because this is one of those incidences. Oh my goodness, so tired. Can't even think of the word. Instances. That's what I was looking at. Brace, that's correct. It's amazing. That I can use that top piece and the bottom piece, right? Because I think I cut another strip, didn't I? Yes, look it. This could go on the top and the bottom of a layout. So I'll just kind of hang on to those and we'll decide. But I will use this strip on something. Okay. So now we are going to put the pieces together. I think this one I'm going to save for background for a layout. So I will do that. I heard that the only way you could leave was traveling on a buffalo. On a buffalo. No, I don't even know if we have buffalo in this country. Maybe some bison. Fly to Vegas. Yes, I'll meet you in Vegas. I will go anywhere where the temperatures are warmer. I'm done with the snow. It was nice this year with us being home and not having to travel anywhere. I didn't mind the snow, but I have to say now I can honestly tell you that I am done with the snow. Enough with the snow. So this is another day. I like this one, so I showed you how to do that heat embossing, but I think this will be fun to make a layout out of. So watch, that will be coming. We have this one that will make a layout as well. But now, fun things. So let's look at our circles. So the circles look really pretty, but now I feel like we need to elevate them. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here with the circles. How fun are these, right? And watch what I'm going to do with them. It's going to be pretty. So we could do these on a couple of different things. So these are the circles. And I think some of them, don't you think they'd be fun with a little bit of gold embossing on them? So I have this card, and let's look, because I think this could be fun. I'm going to do that maybe. I'm going to sew some of these circles on here because I like that. So I'm going to, no, I'm not. That covers up my whole card. I'm not doing that. Maybe on this side. We'll decide because it might not be happening, but we'll look. Because I would like it as an option, but I don't know. Oh, I like it on there. So I'm going to stitch those on that side of that. And then the rest, we're going to put a little bit of extra something on here, okay? Northern Lights, a brace, yes. Are you watching live, Lil, or are you on a delay? I think it might be a little delayed because unless you just can't get to the computer fast enough. So maybe you're just delayed, the video's not delayed. So I like this. These ones are embossed. That doesn't need anything. I feel like the gray ones, I'm going to put a little gold embossing on. Okay, and I'm happy with the rest. So I lied. We're not done with the mixed media. We need to add. These need a little something. So I'm going to take them and I am going to stamp some gold embossing on them. And then we'll heat set it. And I'll just do it with the script stamp I have here because I'm not fussy. You're about 5 minutes delayed. It's so crazy, right? You see our comments about 5 minutes after we post them. It's so weird. So hopefully you guys know I'm not ignoring you. There is a delay in the video. I have some embossing powder on this, so I'm just wiping that off a bit. And we'll go in there and stamp some of these with some gold. And I don't need it all over some. I'm okay if it's only on half. So I will set them up kind of like that. Stamp. And emboss. Got some that have lots. And that one just on the one side. And now we will put some gold embossing powder on these, and I think that's going to elevate them. Oh, was it you, Lil? Was you just started the video a little later? Is that what it was? Because remind everybody what they press. I think there's a button that says live that you press, and you will make sure that you are on the video live, like you're in current time. Is that what you would say? Where are my tweezers? Would come in super handy, but I think they're upstairs by the phone because, you know, that's where they should be, right? Upstairs by the phone. But if you had your tweezers right now, and I was buying the reverse tweezers that I really liked through We Are Memory Keepers, and they discontinued them. So that's sad, but I know scrapbook.com has them. But it's super helpful. But I will show you the other thing that I do. This is gonna be pretty. And then we're grabbing. So if you guys want to keep up and kind of do what I'm doing, the sewing machine. There's a 1 minute delay. Yeah, I love, 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 love my script. But there is a great Tim Holtz one too. I'll share the link for that later. But I'll just use a pencil and try to find my embossing gun. But watch what's going to happen. And you don't want these all to blow away, so just kind of move them out of the way. And make sure that you have something protecting your table. So if you scrapbook on Grandma's dining room table, make sure you're not heating directly on. Even though you have a craft mat down, you don't want to heat directly on the table, right? Because it could damage your table. But look how pretty that looks. Can you see that? Love it. And don't look at my jacked hands. If you're looking for a beautiful manicure, you will not get it here because it lasts for 5 minutes with all the painting I do. So, and I tried to use those nails that you can glue on your hands, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but those glue-on nails make my hands and fingers ache. So I don't know if I have an allergy to the glue or it's just the pressure of it, but I know I love them and I want them in every color and every pattern, but I can't wear them. They literally, my arms and hands ache when I put those nails on. Isn't that crazy? Jack is intrigued. Hello, Jack. I was thinking about you today when your mother was talking about doing her lists, that I remember when I used to come with all the Smarties. And I want to come and visit Jack and bring him Smarties. And I want Nick to make me supper. And Jack too now, because he's a chef. But I really want the flank steak and artichokes. And I always laugh because Lael says, I help. She makes the garlic mayo dip, right? So I'll show you these when they're done, but this is going to add this fun element, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this now, because I'm going to grab, I did them all. oops, with my sewing machine. It's going to be fun. And I'm going to do it on a totally white background. So for you guys that say mixed media isn't for you, I'm going to prove you wrong, because this is how I hook you, is by doing it in a way that will appeal to everybody. So look how pretty those look. Right? With the embossing on it. I love it. Layers, layers, layers. So taking a background, because if you've done some of these with me, you probably have backgrounds that you do not like. You look at it and go, I don't know what I was thinking. I hate the color palette. And now there's an option, right? You know where your talents lie, and they're definitely not in the kitchen. And that's okay, because you have family who loves to cook. So you're set, Lil, right? You don't have to go in the kitchen. If you have people who like to cook, then I will be right with you. I just don't have anybody here who wants to cook. So those suckers all need to be fed, and I'm stuck in the kitchen. Okay. So let's make our first background. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody else feel like that? And it makes me bitter. I don't want to make food anymore. And my family's super picky, so it makes it really not fun. I don't like to eat the food. So, but I've created the monsters. I can't say anything. It's all my fault. My children are who they are because I have let them be who they are. They kick you out. But you're in there giving orders though, right, Lil? Because from your list today that you are bossy, right? That's one of the things, didn't you say? Or stubborn, I don't know, whatever you said, but I'm right there with you. But I'd be in there telling them how to do it. So here's the idea. We're going to make a polka dot background and we're going to sew on it. Isn't it going to be fun? So we'll start laying out our pattern, and then we might need to just kind of move things around if it doesn't work exactly how we want it to. It's going to be so pretty. So I'm going to do 4 across, and I hope I have enough circles, but if I don't, I can always punch some more. So let's decide where these things can go. Okay? That may be there. An orange one. And I hope I have enough patterns here. I hope this is going to work. It does not have to be perfect either, okay? And I might move these a little bit. We'll decide. That works. That one will work. Oh, I have yellow. I have an orange. How are we doing out there? I'm sorry. Then when I get focused on doing this, I'm not watching. About to retire, so looking forward to crafting and going back to cooking. I think I believe she said she was stubborn. I'm sorry if I offended you, Lael, and if I said you were bossy. Because if that wasn't on your list, I'm not saying you're bossy. I'm just saying that I'm going to stop talking because I think I'm just put my foot in it. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that would be me in the kitchen going in and telling everybody how they should do the things, even if I'm not the one making anything. Yay! This is going to be fun, friends. And then once I get them on here, I can decide if I want to move anything. Can I get one more row? Maybe. Maybe I have enough. Guess what? I'm short 1 circle. I have this one, so let's see what I could swap out to put down in this corner. We could put 2. No, I can't. That one won't work. So I have one goal. I have to just pick something that is going to leave that area. Yeah, we could do that, right? That'll work. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. So, are we liking that? So we'll prep everything and then we'll grab the sewing machine and we'll sew it. Absolutely love this. See, well, what is super pretty? So let's talk about things we could do, okay? So this is very beautiful and clean. If you like it like this, you could totally go with this, put a photo on it. You could frame this. This would be pretty artwork in a frame, right? This I think would be beautiful. This could be in smaller circles, could totally be the background for a card, and it would be beautiful. You could pop some of them up, leave them flat. You could punch a smaller circle and layer them in some, put buttons, embellishments in different things, a little chipboard heart on some of them, whatever you want to do, okay? The other thing you could do is totally take a larger circle stamp and you could stamp a circle around. Or, you know what I love to do, is I could take a cup and I could go around and I could add the odd circle. Oh, oops, look at, I just totally put a mess on there and I didn't mean to. I didn't want a circle on there, but look what Vicky just did. So now everything has to shift a little bit so you don't see the mess I just made. And then my hand's dirty. So all of that just happened right in front of you. But it's okay, because, you know, I don't stress. I'll fix it. Can always find a solution. I'm going to leave it like this because I am really digging it. I think that I love it just white like this. And you watch when we sew on it. It's going to be so fun. So let's do the things. And then I will show you why, if you're like, I had never really thought about sewing on a project, why it is so much fun. It adds just that little bit of texture. And then let's all pray that I have enough thread in my bobbin. Because if not, the sewing's not going to go very far, right? I love it. I'm going to leave it just like this. And it does look like a quilt, right? So I'm going to take some temporary adhesive, a repositionable one, because I don't want it to gum up my needle. So we don't need a ton of adhesive. We just need to kind of hold these in place. And we are going to lightly tack them down in the center. And I'm trying to go fast so we can actually get things done tonight. Okay, so just kind of tack it down. You want to tack them down because it's much easier to put it through your sewing machine. So put your row down. And it does not matter what you guys did tonight. Like even if you hadn't made any of these backgrounds, you could totally do this with pattern paper. You could have done it with stamped images. You could do it with something you've done in Friday Night Live with me before that you think looks like poop. And you could make something out of it tonight, right? So this is a great option for scraps. It's a great option for what you perceive as failed mixed media, or art for everyone kind of backgrounds, or whatever you want to do, right? Discovered from the podcast Lael and Vicky did. Yay! Just finally watched Lael's Intro to Travelers YouTube part 1 today, and I think, what did you say, Lael? You're almost on 50 something. So you got a little catching up to do. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I love doing those and her listing ones. It's awesome fun. Okay, let's I'm just keep going, Vicky, or you're never going to get through anything here. So, I don't care if they're perfect. You could, if you wanted, get your ruler and go through all of that, but it's all good. Just throwing these down. This, tape runner is a little on the old side, so it makes me wonder if it's a little dried out, but for what I need it for tonight, it's fine. So just kind of look at it, and I'm sitting. Sometimes when I do this, I'm going to stand up because it can be a little bit more helpful. I wonder if my mom is out there, because my mom, I know Lael's mom watches her too, because I'll see her mom pop on, but my mom doesn't usually talk. She just watches. So she might be out there. She usually watches, and then my dad will come in and say, "What's Vic doing tonight?" And then sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, that's really cool," and he'll be surprised. He'll be like, "Oh, surprised that he likes whatever I'm making." I love it, right? It's always awesome when your parents kind of are into, or anybody in your family, right? Like, how is it? That's probably why that one wasn't sticking. There actually wasn't any adhesive underneath it. Are your families into your whatever type of crafting you do? Because I know some of you out there, like who out there is a scrapbooker? Who, or started even as a scrapbooker? Who out there likes to work in their traveler's notebook or a card maker? I'm always very curious what kind of crafters you are. Is there anyone who is really down with mixed media and does art journaling? Because I am always very interested to know what kind of crafting everybody does. Scrapbooker. Mary Ellen, are you a scrapbooker who will try these artful techniques? Or are you a little nervous to try it? You enjoy watching, but you haven't actually taken the plunge? So digging that, just got to play with a little bit of positioning, but it's ready to go. So this one's ready for sewing. That has to be moved down though. Just kind of look at it and make sure your spacing looks somewhat balanced. Oh, totally digging it. Now do you see too, it's kind of shifted. I didn't center it. It's shifted off to the left, and I'm all right with that. Me and Beyonce. To the left, to the left. So totally digging that. I will set that aside now. It's ready to sew on it. Yes, Missy is amazing with the mixed media. I love her. Love using mixed media. Started as a seamstress. I love it. And Dorina and I have met each other a number of times at scrapbooking events. Because I used to, back in the day when we were allowed to leave the house, would leave to go to scrapbook events, right? Now not so much, but so let's decide. I am going to put this on here. We're going to tack this down and we're going to sew on it. So I'm going to tack that down, and I am loving this across the bottom. So let's put these things down and we're going to sew on this. Again, I'm just using a repositionable adhesive because I just need it to stay in place while I'm sewing, but it doesn't actually need to be glued after I sew, because I'm going to sew across the bottom and I'm going to sew on this as well. And then we're just going to have to figure out how I can set it up so you guys can see me sewing. So here's a question. Who out there has sewed on their projects, or who has never really thought of it? This is my kind of sewing. My friend Paige Evans likes to hand stitch, and it's beautiful. I just, one, don't have the skill, or have never tried it anyway, or I am not patient enough. So, but I will do this with a sewing machine quite happily. So let's just kind of tack that in place. It's ready now. I'm going to cut the top off to be sewn. What are we saying? You love it all. Me too. I have pretty much no limitations on the type of crafting I will do. I like to do altered stuff. I like to scrapbook. I like to even the odd time make cards. I'm just not, I don't think, very good at it. But we're going to do some kind of card background. Let's do that. So let's grab another piece of foundations. I have a whole pad here. And I'm going to do, oops, I'm throwing stuff all over the floor, but it's all good. So help me here. I guess if I did let's say the card's going to be 5 by 7. If I cut I'm going to cut a 4 by 6 piece. And watch, I'm going to make a piece that would fit on top of a card. So let's do that. This could be a piece of cardstock, but I'd have to go get it, and I only had the foundations here. So my card size is going to be a 5 by 7, so this will be small enough to fit on it. And then let's figure it out. Let's do the hearts on here. And let's see, can we do kind of like we just did with, oh yes, I love it. Hopefully I have enough. I do too, look. Totally gonna do that. We're gonna make a little heart card. How fun is that? So let's tack these down. But I'm taking some of that off because I have an idea. So I'm only tacking right in the middle of the heart. And I'm going to put that about there. Doing the things, doing the things. So Lael, are you and Nick all packed up and ready to go tomorrow? Stop by the post office, or I guess you can schedule a pickup because Jack will be home. And then you guys, how long will it take you to drive to Zion? A couple hours? Very fun. We are going into the red zone, so at least we can, the kids can go to the gym again and the hairdressers will be open, so I'm very excited for that because I really need my roots done before I start scaring small children. I'm going to move some of these down a little bit. Just put more space in there. Because my hair is a jacked up mess. So very excited for that the businesses can open. It's good because these people who are in service related things have not been able to work. And we need them to be able to pay their bills. And so as much as it is awesome to get a haircut, I'm excited even more so for my hairdresser that her business can open again and for all the people that work with her. Love that. It's ready. Gonna sew on that one. Do we need to sew anything else? I don't want to do too much tonight because I'm going to keep you here forever and I don't want you to say, Vicki, enough. So here's the other thing I'm going to do. One more thing. So let's grab another sheet of foundations. And this is my other thing I'm going to do tonight. We're going to sew on this one too. Red zone in PR is closing one. Gray zone is closing. Red is when we can have like a lot of limitations, but isn't it funny that depending on where you live, they mean different things, right? But I believe it's called red zone here, and it means that we were on full shutdown. You could only go to the grocery store and doctor and that kind of thing. But now they've opened some stuff up. So here's my other idea that I could do. Let's see. Which one do I want on top? I like that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the orange strip and then I will add as we go. Okay, so we'll tack that, and now I'm grabbing my sewing machine. So I use a Brother sewing machine I bought years ago, I think at Walmart. But remember years ago, they used to have a whole fabric section in Walmart too, because I think more people sewed and did all of the things. And now we don't have that same amount of, I think, crafting going on, but it would be nice. So the one that I have, I'm turning around to grab it because now I just got to make sure I can get the plug to fit here, is Brother LS2125 is the sewing machine I use, and now I have to move my chair, right? So I'm going to have to figure out how are we going to do this so you guys can see. If I do it like this, can you guys see what's happening? You're not going to be able to see exactly. You'll see as I sew it, but we'll just do the best we can, okay, friends? And I'll show you what's happening as we go. But yes, I love to sew on paper. It is a great textural effect. You can do straight stitch, you can do a zigzag, but normally I don't do anything special with the needle. I don't buy its all-purpose thread, nothing special. You want to practice just to make sure how your tension is. And the other thing you want to be aware is always stitch on the side that's easiest when you're fitting it in the machine, okay? So my foot pedal is up. I make sure I have enough string there. I feed it in and then drop the foot and put the needle through the paper, making sure. And then I just have a straight stitch, and I don't even worry if it's I'm sewing really straight. You want to make sure that you don't put too much adhesive underneath your paper because it can tear your thread. If you put really tacky adhesive, it will tear your thread. But look at, I love that effect that you get. I would like to get a sewing machine that has, I like when the holes go really deep, and this one doesn't really do that. And you can leave your string on, or I just will pull it to the back, and I usually will put a piece of masking tape on it. But what I love with mixed media is because the paper is a little bit thicker and maybe not super flat, and adhesive sometimes doesn't stick very well, that this will give you that option of tacking your mixed media down and it doesn't lift up on you. Okay, so let's do this again. I'm gonna put the pink one down. And I don't care if I can see the stitching. So I stitched the one that's on the back first, and then the last one that will go on is the yellow one. So I'm just kind of stitching in order, right? And I'm going to do the same thing. And just go through. That. Yep, it's okay. I thought it wasn't going through. See, I'm kind of turning my paper. Oop, and watch, because really the setup isn't ideal. And watch as well with your embossing powder. Makes the paper a little sticky. So you might have to feed it through a little bit. It could get stuck underneath the foot. But fun, right? And let's put this last one down. I laugh because a lot of you will be like, oh, I need a sewing machine. And your family will be like, what do you need a sewing machine for? You don't sew. Lengthen your stitches. I've done that as well. Lengthen the stitches. But it doesn't, like some machines, I love when it goes in farther. Do you know what I mean? Like some sewing machines, just like my friends will sew on their paper and their machine just does, I don't know, the hole looks bigger. I don't know. But like I said, you guys out there who actually sew might be looking at it going, ugh, Vicky, what a mess you're making. But here, we'll do it on that one. I do not sew clothes, I only sew paper. Okay, now, see, that made it smaller. Let's do there. It is not liking this now. It's too thick. Let's go back to 5. Let's see. Vicky's breaking it on live. Yeah, it's not liking it. Just a sec. And this is the other thing that happens sometimes, friends. That's what's happening. It's all caught in my bobbin. Yay! So, friends that sew out there, tell me why that happens. because this happens to me where it gets caught in the bobbin like that. Isn't that fun? Yep. So I don't know how much sewing is going to happen tonight because now, yeah, good times, Vicky. And I'm looking at your comments. Hold your thread when you start. Okay. Like I said, I do the things, but I don't sew. And it's all in there. And remember I said I hope my bobbin has lots of thread in it. So hopefully we can get this page finished. But look at, there's not a lot of thread in my bobbin. And smart people would probably own multiple bobbins so they could just fill it back up. But of course, I am not of that school, meaning of being a smart person. I should have checked that, but I did not. Just a sec here. That's anticlimactic, isn't it, friends? But like so many of the other things that we do, I am self-taught with most things that I do. All my mother ever taught me was how to thread it. But no, see, it's caught. That's what's happening. It's caught somewhere in here. There we go. Okay. Sorry, friends. Didn't pick it up. That's why. Just a second. Here we go. So we'll see what we can get done before I have to thread my bobbin. Not fun? Okay, sorry. You can buy pre-wound bobbins. Really, Pam? It's realistic. Happens, always happens to me, right? Do some faux stitching, whatever. I will stitch right over it. That doesn't even bother me, right? Because I can always add my title there or whatever. So let's try that again after Vicky broke the things. All right, let's see. Is it going to work? Fingers crossed. There we go. Okay, friends. All right, it was a little snafu, but we're back on track. Real life, it totally is, right? That's what I said. You're not getting perfection when you're with me. You're getting pretty much the reality. It looks all right, right? It turned out all right. But I love this. The point I was making is the sewing with the mixed media. Look at that hot mess. Look at the dust that's in my machine. So you get to see the reality. Pull those strings through, but look how pretty that looks, right? So now you have your mixed media, but you still have this beautiful white background that you can put pattern paper on. And you could do a double page layout. You could put your mixed media strips at both ends of a double page and put a bunch of photos on here, and then just find a piece of paper that coordinates with that. But we'll make something out of it, but I just wanted you guys to see that's a nice way to use this with kind of contained funk. So let's set that aside. Definitely a scrapbooker and a card maker. Woohoo, go Vicky. You're impressed that you're doing okay. You like that, right? When I got it all jacked up, it worked out. I knew that I'd fix it. It's just not ideal. When we're on here, you want it to kind of work, right? So I'm going to sew right a line down the center of both these hearts. I'm hoping, right, we're praying that there's enough thread in my bobbin because otherwise you guys are gonna have to watch me thread my bobbin, which could end up happening. I'm feeling like it's probably going to be a thing. And just try to make sure it's lined up down the center of the heart. And we'll sew down these. All right. So far, so good. Sorry guys too if you are commenting and I'm missing it. Very focused on the sewing here. So on Facebook Live yesterday, on Friday Night Live on Facebook, we had done these backgrounds. And then I thought it would be fun tonight to come, see my bobbin. Oh, see, I pushed it and I shouldn't have. So you know what might end up happening is I'll finish this because it's going to be very pretty, and my idea is that you can then take your hearts, because they are on there, and you can just pop them up like that. I ran out of thread right there. So what I'll end up doing is taking this, I will take the thread out, or I'll just sew on that again, it'll be fine, because I'll just line up the holes again and just do a double stitch. But you see how fun that is? Just imagine that that is actually sewn on the card. How pretty for a card, right? And I'll fix that. You lost my bob. I did. So guess what, friends? You're going to have to sit while I thread my bobbin. I should have checked it. It's what happens when you decide to do a live. And you tried to cook dinner first too. I did all the things, right? So I apologize. You can go for a potty break or just kind of chat with me while we thread my bobbin. Because good times, man. Make sure it's not threading on the top, because remember. Yeah, real life. Yeah, but it's working, it's threading. And let's just hope I don't run out of thread on top of it, because that would really be how things would go. But this was impromptu, right? I hadn't really planned on sewing. I just decided that sewing would be fun tonight, and that's good enough. I don't even care if it's completely full, but better than it was. And now I have to thread my needle, which now that I'm getting a little older is also not so much fun. But I'm sure there's tricks that I could do. So sorry that you have to see my roots and my blindness while I try to put it in there. You know, and here's funny. Ooh, first try, and I pulled it right back out. Has anyone else found, as they reached the 5-0, that maybe you had perfect eyesight and then overnight you literally needed readers? And I used to make fun of Lael because she has like 50 readers around her room, and I'm like, why do you need all that? And now I'm at that point where I can't see close up. So is that a normal thing? That I have to hold everything away from me? And I'm like, when the heck did that happen? I have had perfect eyesight, and then literally I woke up one day and I couldn't see close up. So I just threaded this like 4 times and pulled it back out. So just give me a minute. Sorry, friends. And I know there's like little tricks, that little gold needle threader thing that I could use, but I'm really stubborn. See, Lael, I'm like you, I'm stubborn too. So I need to do it. But anybody else that all of a sudden happened overnight, I'm like, what the heck? How did I literally could see, and then literally woke up one day and my eyesight, it didn't even feel like it was a slow thing. It just, felt like, oh man, I've done that now 5 times, threaded and pulled it right back out. That I lost my eyesight. So I'm not looking forward to, like, there's enough other things that are going as we get older. I'm like, come on, give me something. But I know I'm gonna have to go get them checked. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, friends. Put this bobbin back in here. I don't know what I did there, so we'll see where that's gonna create a problem. At some point it will, but we'll just go with it for now. Because now I have to show you, I'm really mad about that heart card that I just totally jacked up, because I was really loving the look of it, but we will make it work like you do. Okay, there we go. On our impromptu live on a Saturday night, because Rich is like, he's so good though, because I said, honey, supper's ready, but I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and he was like, okay. So I don't know, is there sports on tonight? Are there sports? Close up, computer distance needs something different for all of them. Oh my goodness. And you were 46, so maybe I got like a little extra time in there. But I was like, what the heck? How did I lose my eyesight literally overnight? So I'm gonna get rid, oops, of these. I almost just cut the whole card, just so you know. And I'm gonna sew on that again. Pull that through. And see if we can, just by putting an extra stitch, make it look okay. Let's see. Can I fix it? We shall see. All right, but it's gonna be pretty, right? So is this making anybody want to do some different things with their mixed media? And of course the yellow heart is moving, so I've got to kind of hold it in place. Yay! I was pretty good at following the holes again, and I'm going to put a second stitch in there. See, it's doing it again. It gets caught in my bobbin. Ay, ay, ay. Stop giving me a hard time. And let's just laugh about it, right? That I just totally unthreaded the needle. Mine looks so much better now that it's punched out, right? And like I said, you could stamp on top of it if you guys are stamp collectors and have the coordinating dies. So you could stamp butterflies on your backgrounds and then cut them out. And they make beautiful, the mixed media makes a beautiful bottom layer. So I'm gonna add a second stitch in both of these. Well, a third stitch on this side, but there we go. And my husband's down here now, I can hear him. He comes down and swings his golf clubs. He is waiting for the weather to warm up so he can hit the golf course. Did it again. Somebody tell me why that's happening. Why my bobbin is wrapping itself around. I don't understand. Like I said, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I'm not a sewer. So one of you guys are going to help me later. So what happens is when you pull the thread out of the bobbin, it's got like 2 loops of thread in there because you're live, that too. The tension is off, but where do I fix that? Like the knob here is for the stitches, and then is it the plus minus button here? Is that for the tension? Right there, is that adjust the tension? See my sewing ladies? Somebody come over here and help me. That would be awesome. Ease your tension. But is it that knob? Your needle might be dull. Would that make it too? Is there thread out of the top of the bobbin? Yes, it's the tension. Okay, all my smart, but is that, so I loosen the tension? Let's try to do it. I don't have anything. I'm going to use my scissors. Okay, we're seeing I'm going to I'm putting it towards the minus, and I can't. I need a screwdriver. So we'll have to just go with it, but I'll try that later. And then I will call Nicole, and Nicole will help me. Because I want to kick it in the face. Not gonna lie. Anybody else like that? I'm like, stuff when it works is awesome. When the stuff doesn't work, it is very frustrating. And I have zero amounts of patience. See, it's fine now. But look it. Okay, let's pretend all of that pain in the butt didn't happen now. It's like, see? Oh, look, and I can pop my hearts up. You could do this on a page, but look how pretty that will be on a card. And I am going to make a card, and I will share it with you guys, okay? So it could be on a tag. This could go in your mini book, but love that. So we'll set that one aside, but totally love that. I need to loosen it, so I will do that later. Not obviously doing it now because I need a tool and I have no tools. So we need to sew this guy and pray for me. Let's make sure. So I'm going to sew in a circle and I'm going to sew across the bottom. Okay. And then I will show you the outcome. So here we go. I'm just going for it, and let's hope the tension's going to work. So I just kind of turn it loosely in the machine, and Nicole is definitely an amazing sewer. She used to do stuff with Janome sewing machines, and I want a pink Janome sewing machine. I'm gonna have to buy myself one day just to have the pink one. I have the sewing machine that We Are Memory Keepers sold. I think I have a pink one or a turquoise one, I don't know, but it doesn't sew all that well, so I don't really use it. But I love sewing, and I love that this would be a nightmare to glue this cut file down, but just by stitching around it, it adds a layer of texture, and it also adds adhesion. Right now it's in place, and I can do my thing, and I don't have to put tons of glue on it or adhesive. And you could keep going as long as you want, but I'm gonna go, I think, one more round, one more ring around the rosy. Your machine is mint green. Oh, I would love that, Nicole. I need a mint green sewing machine. See, and I just kind of play with it, and I don't care how perfect the stitches are. Trying to move it around, and I'm gonna finish it right there. Pull my needle out, lift my foot. At least it was good to me. And can you see? So now that's sewn in place. You could hand stitch this if you want to do that, if you're more kind of into the cross stitch thing. Remember, I don't have the patience for that, but definitely you do whatever works for you. I love the look of it though. I think it's absolutely beautiful. We just know what our crafting limitations are, right? See, there's something pulling that sucker in the bottom. So I think it's getting hooked on something, but I want to finish these. No, it's all good. I don't know. Nicole, come over here and help me. Stay for a month. More imperfect, the better, right? I agree. So come over here, Nicole, Noah Sad, and stay with me for a month and fix my sewing machine. That did not sound good. Nope. Nicole Cheryl, I'm going to kick it in the face. It's going to happen. Isn't that sound violent, right? I'm sorry. I'm just losing my patience. But we'll get it to work. We'll get it to work. And now you see that this is what happens when we're at home. It is not a perfect world, so don't think everybody who crafts out there, if they try to make it look like everything is so easy and they never have any issues, they're lying to you. I don't believe it. What are you doing out there, Rich?
Mine's blue. See?
What's blue? Oh, his golf club. He's coming to play show and tell. He's coming to show you his golf club. Your attention needs to be adjusted. I know, but I have to leave and go and get the screwdriver. So we'll just, right, Debbie, I'm just going to keep playing with it till it does what I want it to do. Ah! Okay. Do-do-do. Vicky's having trouble. And I'm very stubborn and I won't go and fix the problem. So we just pretend there isn't one. Keeps catching though. Yes, I know my tension. But I would really like you guys to just come and do it for me rather than me having to fix anything. Because the things I'm good at, I love. The things I'm not good at, I'm quite okay with somebody helping me. Don't touch, it's the bobbin. So explain, so what would I need, what's wrong with my bobbin? What would I need to do? It is, I believe, I agree with you, Cheryl. There's some jacked upness going on in my bobbin. Because all the issues are coming always from the bobbin. The thread gets caught in the where the bobbin is and breaks. And I don't know what is going on. Can you come over, Cheryl, and fix it? Right? Just redo it. Whatever, I'm just going to keep going because that's what I do, right? Why would you fix it? We just keep sewing and doing the same thing. Oh, I think it's working again because this is pretty much how we do the things. That's not, I need a straight screwdriver, hun. Rich went and got me a screwdriver, but Cheryl told me don't touch the tension. So I don't know if I should touch the bobbin now. But it worked. The things worked, see? And if I had recorded the video, you guys wouldn't have known any of that happened. So now you get to see the human side of the scrapbooking. On your bobbin case, there should be a screw. It might need to turn to the left. Lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. I'll try that. Is your bobbin locked in there properly? Yes, I believe so. It has the like little hook. I hooked it in, like open the key and put it in and hook it. So we'll have to do something. One of you guys are gonna have to FaceTime with me who knows all about the sewing machines. And we will FaceTime and I'll show you the things. We'll do that. And you can help me because I'm sure somebody is very excited. They can't wait to FaceTime with me to teach me how to fix my bobbin. But it's working again, so we'll just go with it and pretend none of that happened right now. Okay. But yes, I will take up with anybody who will help me at a later date, but it's working again. So this is what happens. It won't work and then it does work. But look how pretty. Let's pretend none of that happened and I'm going to show you. We have our circles to sew, okay? Take the bobbin out, make sure the thread is in the guide. See, Wanda, we'll have to FaceTime because I don't understand any of that. That's what happens here. I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. So here, let's talk about this. Should I sew them in a rectangle and in an inner rectangle? That might be fun. Or just lines down the circles. So what do you guys think? Just lines down the circles, or should I sew a square or rectangle and then an inner rectangle? I'm kind of thinking that the rectangle would be fun. What do you guys think? Rectangle? I'm waiting for somebody. I see lines. What do you guys think? Do you think lines just because it'll be safer tonight and you're afraid for me with, but I like the, I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the gut, my gut, okay? I'm gonna try for the rectangle and let's hope for the best. Everybody cross your fingers for me out there that this is gonna work. Okay, and now I'm going to lift the foot and turn it. And I'm going to do a couple of rectangles, okay? So it's going to go a couple of times around. And if you don't want to sew, this would have looked fine without any stitching on it, right? But I'm going to do, this is going to be really wonky. It's not meant to be straight. I'm going to kind of crisscross the stitching. Spin it around a little bit. Praying that it keeps working because I really like this page and I don't want to wreck it. Here we go. So is anybody sewing with me right now? Is anybody making? And I'm sure some of you guys answered this earlier, if you actually made a couple different backgrounds last night or today with the techniques from yesterday. I hope so. I hope you had time to craft today, even if it wasn't this, that you got to make something. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm gonna go around one more time. Really kind of sweepy circles that intersect the lines that I just did. And then when I'm done, I'll show you all of these up close, okay? And I'm gonna do the inner rectangle, and I love this. Like, love this, friends. I love how this one is turning out. Look at that. Doesn't that look pretty? And now I'm gonna do an inner rectangle with those ones as well. That would look cool with black thread, yes, or turquoise or purple thread. Making slimline cards, I love it. I have a sewing machine, but it sits mostly unused because it scares you. Look at Simone, you watched me. I do all the things and I have no clue what I'm doing and just hope for the best. And now you're part of this community of all these sewers. So I feel confident if any of us needed help, that so many of you guys, I love it, will reach out and help. And that is really awesome. Like, I have to say that there's so much bad that has come out of COVID, but the one thing that is awesome is this community that we've built. Because we are from all different parts and walks of life in the world, and I love that we get together and we craft and we learn new things, and we've made new friends. So, and I have a whole bunch of friends that are going to help me figure out why my sewing machine isn't working, if they wanted to or not. Because you know I'll bug you guys until somebody helps me, because it's really frustrating. And especially when you don't have the knowledge, and I don't know. Because I sew on paper and have never taken any kind of formal sewing class, so I know I'm doing something wrong, and there's probably service things I should be doing with the sewing machine that I know nothing about, and I need to learn so that we can fix it. But so I'm not looking at your comments. I will in a second. I have one more rectangle to go around here, and I'm done. This. So make sure when you lift your foot, if the foot pedal, if you are new to sewing, that to turn it, you want to do that. And make sure that the needle is in the paper before you lift the foot. And some of you guys that sew out there are probably laughing at my amateur direction. Telling the peoples what to do, even though I'm like, I don't know how to fix my bobbin. But I love this. I cannot wait to share this one with you guys. I think that you're gonna love it. So I have one more thing I want to sew. This, remember, I'm going to sew these on the side, okay? So, and then let's look at where we're at. How we doing out there? But it is these virtual events, and this creative community, man, have stepped up. Like, there is so much content out there, and it doesn't matter what you're looking for. You could learn how to play the ukulele. You could do so many things. I have to say that we are very blessed with as much as we might give modern technology and computers and a bad rap. It has been the saving grace that our kids can still go to school in these times, and that with virtual and all the other things, now see it's jammed again, but at least I was able to do that. See what happens if I pull the top thread? I can get it to come back out, and it double loops inside my bobbin. So one of you guys will be able to help me with that. I just know it. So I'm going to move this beast of a sewing machine, because this is what happens. I'm the kind that would just go and buy a new sewing machine because I can't figure out how to fix it. So just buy a new one and give it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Okay, let's look at the things now. Sorry that was so painful. I was so excited to show you sewing on layouts, and that was a nightmare. But it's all good, okay? So let's look at the things. And now I can read the comments. Yes, I hope they will continue as well. I'm not going anywhere, right? Vicky, where is your top thread going? Is it following the diagram on top of the machine? I think so. Do you know, like Patty, when people ask me and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'll go through and read this stuff later, because I'm sure there's good info in here, guys. But I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, you know, when you're like, I'm good at lots of things, but I am a total amateur with this sewing machine. So I'm sure there's something very easy that when I read your comments, I'll be able to fix. And I'll do that. But I'm annoyed now. Can you tell? I'm annoyed with my lack of skill. So, but I love the result. So even though it was painful, Can you guys see? Like, look how pretty this is. And you could go through, you can leave if you like the loose thread on there, you totally can, or you can pull it through to the back. When you get time, re-thread your machine, take out the bobbin, dust out the bobbin case, and try again. I love it. And that's, you saw all the dust that's in there. Do you think that's what's happening? Cheryl, I wish you lived close, because I totally would say, hey, I'll leave my sewing machine, fix it for me, and I will give you mixed media stuff. Here's some foundations paper. Just do the things. But, you know, because it's like, oh, it hurts. It'll go back in my cupboard for a while. Or next time you watch, I'm going to have the new turquoise one like Nicole's. And then somebody can come and thread the bobbin and do all the things. Definitely not a nightmare. It was very soothing to watch and listen. Thank you, Mark. I'm sorry, though, that I didn't. I'm getting thumbs down, though. That's always my favorite. But, you know, it's going to happen when you do the lives. I love how this one turned out. Lots of texture. Sorry for the sewing machine mishaps, but it was worth it in the end because it looks really pretty. So I will make a layout on this. And I won't need much of anything else. A little bit of pattern paper that I'll mat some photos on, and some thicker, some stickers, right? And I think it'll turn out really pretty. And this is what we had used originally to do this layout, right? I used it first as a mask and used my stencil brush around it and got a really pretty pattern. And then used it here for a second layout. And love how that turned out. And you totally could have cut this and decoupaged it and did some stamping on top, and it would have turned out really pretty, right? But love how that one turned out. Now let's take a closer look at this one, because I really am digging these circles where you can get a really clean finish. Look at that one. Isn't that pretty, friends? And you could totally put this in a frame if you wanted and just put some wall art up. Or you could put, like, I think, like photos over on the side and then title. You could put journaling in the block around. Very pretty, right? This could be a great cover on an album or on your, in a mixed media or traveler's notebook. You could just do smaller scale, but I love how this one turned out. I don't actually, sometimes I don't even know if I would do anything else with it. I just love the way it looks. But you most certainly could do a double page layout too, where this could be one side with maybe a little photo and some titles, and then your other side could just be another doing in kind of this grid. You could just put photos in a grid on your second page, and I think that would turn out really pretty. Love that. And then we have the card that I will make the card and post it. So I will mat this with maybe a piece of navy cardstock, and then I can put my little sentiment on it and just put it right, I'd pop it up on a card, and you have this really pretty kind of mixed media background, but it's still nice and simple and clean. Not a total loss. You have people contemplating getting their sewing machines out. I love it. But it is live, right? So sometimes that stuff's going to happen. But I think, too, when you do these videos and you do get the thumbs down and stuff, it could just be because they were just hanging out on the interwebs and they don't like mixed media. But it is what it is. I know you're not everybody's going to love you. I'm not for everybody. But it's all good. I love that. I love these cards. Oh, I forgot, friends, the squares. But I'm going to do the same idea, right? With the squares. Sorry, that was my paper trimmer. But look how fun. So this one, when we do this, could be more. You could put them down more like that, right? It doesn't have to be. And just kind of do a pattern across. I need another purple one because now all of our colors are kind of the same. right? And it's almost like quilting, but with paper. So you could do something like that, or you could do exactly like we just did with the circles. But I love anything that is kind of a grid pattern. Right? I just would need more of them. But I love that. And remember we were talking too, where you could still throw in and totally make it where it's mixed media, but doesn't have to be messy, where you just start kind of sewing in and layering some of your bits on a page. So love this idea as well, right? So I have these things. I will put them in. I keep all of this stuff, like all my leftover bits, and then we'll do other things with it. You could take some of these, right, and kind of do something like that, and you could journal in the middle of it when you lay your strips out. We have all these pieces that are left that we can do something else with later. And remember I said, like, look how fun that is, and you could sew that right in there and then put your photo in the middle, or a title, and use it for your title block. And the circles I love. And you still have your other strips. So all of these things, and remember I cut out all of these that I'm going to use for something else, but I love now when we take that big 12 by 12 and break it down into smaller pieces, that I have all this opportunity for other art. And this could go on the side of a layout just like I would use pattern paper. So if you look at it and go, what do you do with this mixed media? Like, we watch it and we do all of this stuff. What do you do with it? This is the kind of thing I do with it. I will use this just like I would pattern paper, but I love the process of making it. I find it's great for my mental health. When I just need to relax and kind of unwind, I will do this kind of stuff. And then you can do whatever you want with it in the end. Remember we talked about these? So you could take a piece of pattern paper, and then this could be at the top and bottom of your layout. Look how pretty that is, friends. And then imagine that you have like a black script in the middle and you put your photos on it, or make it smaller and use them for cards. But I have to say, this Miami Vice feeling pink and grays, I'm digging. But we have all these things that you know we're going to use at some point. Look how pretty though when you put it on white, or you could put it on a piece of yellow or chartreuse background. But I think I agree with you, Diana, the process is everything. For me, it's just doing all of these. I loved it. I had a great day today just making these backgrounds. And now I will put this in a bin where I have huge bins of my mixed media. And then when I just don't want to maybe make the mess, but I want to make something out of it, I'll pull it out of that bin and then just make something. So now just tonight with those backgrounds, we have, which you will watch me finish and you'll see, and maybe we'll do, would you guys like process videos now of like how we can elevate these backgrounds? Because that could be fun, right? Is that it could be a part 3 where I make projects out of them, or is it okay if I just make it and then share it with you after? Because we still have all of these that I'm going to make something out of, right? I love this one. Like, I love that. That is plenty of opportunity to do something really fun, right? And then we have this background that I'm totally going to make a layout out of. I love how this one turned out. And to do this background, I put all of my pigment on a full sheet of the cover of the foundations paper. And then I flipped it onto a sheet of foundations paper and let it sit there and dry. Because if you let it sit there and then it just soaks into the background, you get this really pretty, I feel like it's kind of a unicorn effect. And then this was the stencil stamping I talked about earlier, where the pigment was on the stencil. I kissed it to the background and then just put that lime green, through it. And then we showed the embossing. But we have all of these things that we can make layouts out of. So now you know things to do that elevate your backgrounds. And if you like the idea of mixed media, but you don't like the messy background, look at the magic you can make, especially out of pieces that you didn't love. Like that you were doing it and you're like, okay, the vision didn't really work, but you'll have that pretty background. So I'm going to flip the camera around. And friends, if you're still here and you haven't already subscribed, please do that. And please give a thumbs up, because those things matter on these videos. I don't care if you thumbs up or thumbs down, but when people are trying to find us, it makes it super helpful, because something magical happens on YouTube, right? So they can find. But there's a close-up of this layout with that gold. I love it. And then the card, like, I love this. And that could be on a layout too, right? And then look at, and that's where I said I did white embossing with a script stamp up the side. And I think anything with navy is so pretty. And don't forget, we're starting this month, and you can watch it here on YouTube or on Facebook. On Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be doing a whole new series this month using different distress products. So if you're not familiar with what that is, they are distress products, which are Tim Holtz baby, and they're through Ranger, and I'll put links and all of the things. And then make sure you join our group page on Facebook. It's a Vicky Booten creative community, because I will list what I'm going to be using there and on my artist page. But I love how these turned out. And this was kind of what started it all, right? This is what we did on Friday. And I love it. It actually went like this with the watercolor techniques and lots of fun. And thank you. Natalie's putting links. So if you want to find me, if maybe you just found me for the first time here tonight, that's the dealio. And now flip the camera around so you're not looking at my nose. Thanks so much. That was fun. And thanks, a lot of you guys joined me last night. Thank you to your families who were okay with losing you for 2 nights in a row while we played. And sorry for the jiggles. I'm going to set this all up. It's going to be better. Good things are going to happen, because now I talked to a friend who does live streaming, and she taught me some new things. So I'm going to practice it this week and then have it set up for next Friday when we start our whole new series of Do the Things. And March is going to be featuring and focusing on distress products. And then the month of April will be my new mediums that are coming out with color study. So we're going to, like, it's going to be awesome. And we're going to be using these, which are just a texture paste. Again, if you don't have these, you could use acrylic paint. You know that I'm all inclusive, right? So if you don't have the things, you can still do that. So it's very easy for you guys to just do the thumbs up. Please do that. Please make sure that you set your reminders and that you've subscribed here to my YouTube. So lots of good stuff's going to be coming. And make sure you reach out if there's something you'd really like me to show or teach you. I would love that. And then last but not least, when the live is done, I would love if you guys would leave a comment on the regular comment section at the end of the video. So then if somebody finds us for the first time, they'll know to come and join our community and how much fun we have. So thanks so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll read through the comments, because I will make some stuff out of these. And if you would like, I could even film a video that is how I then made these into the finished projects, so you could fast forward through it. I won't do it as a live. I think I'll just film a video that makes these into pages and cards. Okay, so thanks so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Friday for the beginning of our distress month. Okay, see you guys later. I always have to remember how to end these. So see you guys later. Thanks so much as always.